Okay, so I got this grill probably a month ago and I just haven't had time to get down and build it and then review it, but I have been looking forward to doing this for such a long time. Brisk actually reached out and they offered to send me this grill in exchange for this review, but they have not told me what to say. They refused to pay me at all for this review, so this is completely unbiased. I will give my completely honest thoughts on this grill as I build it and as I use it for a couple weeks here. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, I learned from my last time building the Lifetime grill that I should build it on the grass, because when I built it on the Lifetime one on the cement, I scratched it pretty good during the assembly. So this time I'm doing it on the grass. Hopefully we can avoid that. I just opened up the instructions here, and I knew this was a smart grill, and so on one of the first pages they have, they're telling me to download the app. So I'm gonna go ahead and download the app. Couldn't find the wheels. They were in a separate box than the main grill, so it comes in 2 boxes. Putting together a grill.
Is this for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a bath.
Progress. Done in about an hour. So overall, setting up the grill, it really wasn't that bad. The hardest part was putting those legs on, and I got really frustrated at a few points, but it was just because there were so many things to hold on to. I was holding onto the bolt, and then there was a washer, and then there was the leg, and then on the other side of the leg there was the washer, and then another, it was like one of those locking washers, and then the nut. And so it was like trying to make sure all of it stayed on the bolt while I was securing the nut, and I ended up dropping a washer into the grass, and I couldn't find it, so I had to get a magnet and like put it on the grass to try and find it, and that ended up working. But anyways, after I got the legs on, it was actually pretty smooth sailing after that, and I'm very excited to try and smoke something tomorrow, but for now I'm gonna put the grill cover on it and we'll smoke some meat tomorrow. All right, today's the day. Time to go get some meat. So I downloaded the app last night. We're gonna try a whole chicken today. One thing that really stood out with the app, more than some of the other ones that I've tried, is that it has an option to send to the grill. So I'm gonna send the recipe to the grill. And I haven't connected the grill to my phone yet, but I'm really interested to see what that does, because that could be interesting and kind of cool. So I got the grill connected to my phone, connected to the Wi-Fi. It was extremely simple. Like there was no hiccups there, and it's just installing an update, and it looks like it's already done. It took less than like a minute. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the pellets in there, and we're gonna fire it up and see what we can do here. Like 90 something degrees out right now, and so anyway, so I'm connected, filled up the hopper with the pellets. So I'm gonna go ahead and send this recipe to the grill and see what happens. Okay, so it's giving me like a checklist. That's kind of nice. I'm gonna go ahead and check them all. Okay, Now it's telling me what to do. Prepare all of the... Okay. Alright, so it's saying it's loaded. After ignition, don't forget to push the start program button to activate the inner grill cooking. Okay, I'm going to schedule it to start at... I'm going to schedule it to start in 15 minutes. Oh. That's weird that it says hours and not time. So I'm going to go 4:15. Okay, we'll see if that works. I'm going to go get the chicken ready. Oh, it's beeping. All right, on the grill it says will ignite at 4:15. That's kind of cool. Like, it's kind of not super useful, but at the same time, I like it. Like, I don't know why I want that, but I like it. Nothing. Oh, there it goes. So it was about, let's see, it took about 15 seconds, but if you can see down there, below the 106, below 106 it says 225, which is the grill temperature that it needs to be at for this recipe. So that's pretty freaking cool. It is super hot today, and I am kind of worried about it overheating. With my other smokers, both the Lifetime one and the Traeger one, I had a really hard time keeping the heat down on hot days. And like I said, I think it's 90, 92, 93 right now, and the grill already says it's at 105. I think it's gonna have a hard time sticking around that 225 mark, but we'll see. So just looked through the menu, and there was a way to prime the auger in the digital menu. And maybe if I would have read the instructions, I would have known that. Smoking now. Bad news. Well, bad news for me. Guess you won't really care. But I read the manual after having not read it. And turns out I need to turn it up to 400 to cook off anything that was left over after the manufacturing process. And I remember having to do that with the other grills, I just forgot, so I'm gonna have to wait a little bit longer to throw the chicken on. So that kind of sucks, but that's what you get for not reading. The fan keeps turning on and off. Just randomly like that. And I don't know what's going on, but I'm just gonna trust it. All right, whatever it's doing, it's working. The temperature is staying very, very close to 225, which is something that every other grill that I've ever had or smoker has really struggled to do in hot weather, is hold a good low smoking temperature, a slow cook temperature. So it's sitting at a solid 230 right now, which is fantastic. So I'm actually quite impressed. It's time to turning up the heat. It's looking good. Got the probe in there, monitoring the temperature. And when I go to the next step on the app, I can just click the next step and it will automatically turn the temperature up here and start the timer for that next step. Take it back, it automatically jumped to the next step. I didn't even have to do anything. As soon as the timer was up, that first hour and a half or whatever, it now jumped to the next temperature, which is 375, and restarted the timer. But this one, it should stop once the chicken hits 165 internal temperature. So I will update when that happens. chicken is done. I got a notification that the chicken had reached the temperature, and so I clicked on the notification, and it took me to the app and I started the rest period. But when I started the rest period, it didn't stop the grill, which I thought was weird. And so I came out here to check, and it's still running, even though the rest period has started and you're supposed to take it off the grill. So I thought it would just immediately shut down the grill. I don't know why that's the case, but I guess that's just something to be aware of. Okay, so the other day we finished that whole chicken on the smoker and it turned out fantastic. But today I wanted to give it a shot at searing a steak. So today I'm going to reverse sear 2 sirloin steaks and see how it does when the temperature gets up really, really high, to see if it gets high enough for a good sear. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this one started for the beginning of the sear. So I'm gonna slow cook it until the internal temperature is around 130 degrees inside the steak. And then I will crank that heat up and try and sear it and make sure that the temperature of the steak gets about 145, 150. Okay, we are ready to pull the steaks off. 500. Okay, let's see if it can hit 500. Okay, for reference, it is about 89 degrees out here and it got a little bit windy, but we are approaching 500 degrees right now. It is 498. Okay, so I was able to use this grill for a couple different meals over the last couple weeks, and I just wanted to give a quick review of the pros and cons that I have discovered while using this grill. First off, I think that this grill does an amazing job at temperature regulation. While cooking the chicken and the steak, I was impressed at how well it was able to maintain the correct temperature, and in using some different smokers, I've seen that the fan is either on for an extended amount of time or it's off for an extended amount of time. But this grill has the pattern of, it seems like it's about 5 seconds on, 5 seconds off. And that seems to really do a good job when it's hot outside at keeping the temperature down, which is a problem that I've seen because it's sitting in the sun in my backyard. I get afternoon sun and it's just like, it really makes the smoker get too hot, and then before you know it, your meat's done and the party hasn't even started yet. So I've been super impressed with temperature regulation and the amount of smoke that comes with that 5 seconds on, 5 seconds off pattern when you're smoking something. It's a really good amount of smoke, and the smoky flavor really came out well in some of the meats that I tried. The second biggest thing that I really liked was the app. The ability to send the recipe from your phone to the grill, and it essentially does the cooking part for you, could be really, really helpful for the multi-step recipes. My only drawback to that is that there aren't a ton of recipes that are on the app yet, and so I assume that they'll continue to build that out as the demand gets there. But I was super impressed by that functionality when I was cooking that whole chicken. One other thing that I really liked on the grill is the quality of the wheels. I move my grills quite a bit to get them away from the house, and so every time I'm using the grill, I'm pulling it away and then putting it back, and the quality of the wheels was actually significantly better than some of the other ones that I've had. Now moving on to some of the cons that I experienced while building this grill and while using it. So the first one was the screws and washers on the exterior of the grill. After I had put the bolt through and tightened it, the washer wasn't the exact right size as the bolt, and so the washer ended up being a little off center from the bolt. It didn't line up perfectly and the symmetry wasn't there. And that really bothers me, but that's such a small thing, and I'm the only one that will ever notice because it's kind of on the bottom of the grill. It's underneath where the leg connects to the body. Anyways, that's such a small thing but it bothered me when I was building it. I wanted it to be more symmetrical, more finished looking. Another con, and this is the same with every smoker that I've had so far, is the length of the power cord. Let's make it long enough so that we don't have to be right next to the house in order to plug it in. I have to pack an extension cord with the grill in order to plug it in, which leads me to another con with this grill, is the lack of storage. There's nowhere to put anything. I mean, there's a few little spots on the end of the tray on the right side where you could hang things, but outside of that, there's nowhere to put any like grill cleaner. There's nowhere to put a spatula or anything unless you want it dangling, and then every time you move it, it's hitting things. And anyways, I just really like the Lifetime grill that I have because of the storage. And lastly, and this might be a little controversial, or some people just might not agree with me, but I actually think that you need to get up a little bit hotter in order to sear a steak well. And while this smoker did hit 515, which is really good for a smoker, I haven't had another smoker be able to hit much higher than that, so that's a good thing. But the steaks that I cooked on the smoker, on the brisket smoker, after the sear, the fat still hadn't softened like it does when you hit 550 or 600, probably closer to 600, in order to get that sear, because that's the whole point of a sear, is to melt that fat down and have it go into the meat and flavor that meat and have a nice, tender, juicy steak. And at 500 or 515, you're just not quite there. And like I said, that might be controversial. You can disagree with me, but that's just been my personal experience. Overall, this smoker is awesome. I would recommend it to anyone looking for a smoker. As I look back at my pros and cons, I would say that my pros definitely outweigh the list of cons. The cons are easily overcome if you're looking for an entry-level smoker that does a lot of the work for you. I think this is a great option for you, and I don't think you'll be dissatisfied with it, understanding that, at least for my opinion, this is not something you will be searing a steak on. But as far as a slow cooker, a smoker, this grill did an awesome job.